Right now, we would like to have our speech for today's program by Fola.
To the moderators of this gathering, audience present, viewers in social media platforms, Nigerians here in this country and in diaspora, overseas, I say good day to you all. Good afternoon. Happy Independence Day. And to Nigeria itself, happy birthday. Happy birthday. But just before I dive into the ocean of speech delivery, it will do me a great pleasure to introduce myself. I am Daniel FOLA'S. I consider it a great pleasure and privilege to address the topic restructuring Nigeria, solution to the secession agitation in the country. Just before I dive into the ocean of speech delivery, I would like to use the analogy of the animal kingdom. I have a story to tell you. In a faraway land of Chicago, not the current one we know now, the name Chicago was gotten from three animals: chicken, cat, and goat. Chi representing all feathered and poultry animals, Ka representing all animals in the cat family, and Go representing all cattle, dairy, and work animals. The animals in Chicago all work together to contribute to their standard of living. They farm together, work together, and do all sorts of things together. The poultry animals, produce the eggs and serve as meat for the carnivorous animals. The animals in the cat families protect the smaller animals from external attack. The dairy animals produce milk and also serve as a source of transportation. During one time, the animals began to fight, murmur, and complain. Alas, they had to secede. After their secession, man came and began various forms of attack. To the poultry animals, man killed and used them for consumption. To the animals in the cat family, they had no food to eat since there were no smaller animals to feed on, while the dairy and work animals were used for leather purposes. When the rate of suffering became unbearable for the animals, they gathered together and thought on what to do. What do you think can bring an end to their suffering? Food for thought. Permit me to start by defining the keywords in this topic: restructuring and secession. Restructuring is simply the corporate term for the act of reorganizing any structure, federation, or an alliance, while secession is the withdrawal of a group from a larger entity or an alliance. Secession had been happening for a long time in this country. The first one took place in the year 1967, few years after the independence of this country, when the Eastern region, under the leadership of late General Chukwuemeka Odumegwu, decided to set up the IPOB, the Republic of Biafra, and was countered by General Yakub Gowon. This led to a great civil war. These are our vote, so I want us to take a look at the recent one. Recently, the Eastern people, under the leadership of Nnamdi Kanu, decided to set up IPOB, Independence People of Biafra, while some people in the western region of this country are trying to set up the Oduduwa Nation under the leadership of Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho. To me, at this stage in time, I don't think Nigerians want a broken country. They think the country is broken and they are protesting it. I know there are a lot of things going on in Nigeria today, the sufferings, reproach, and things like that, but I don't think secession is the best choice. Why? Because secession itself is a problem. When the right for secession in the country begins to increase, the nation begins to shake, instability sets in, and things begin to go haphazardly. The central government is affected, the state is affected, Even private sectors are not left out. And you think secession is the best choice? Absolutely no. Furthermore, secession agitation retards the development of the nation. The federal government sees the agitators as those who cause insecurity in the country. Therefore, the money that would have been used for the development of the nation would be channeled towards fighting them. Take, for instance, the IPOB and Odua agitators. These people are throwing the nation into confusion and jeopardy by the incessant curfews and strikes. In addition, there's going to be a lot of educational and relocation problems if any nation should succeed, not only Nigeria. Because no one is expected to carry his or her houses along. Universities will be affected. The NYSC, National Youth Service Corps, will be affected. You don't just expect any country to have a National Youth Service Corps. And if the nation, Nigeria for an example, should secede, we would be having Biafran Service Youth Corps. Maybe we have the Odua National Service Youth Corps, and I don't know which one the Hausas we use. This is going to cause a lot of problem in the country. We Yoruba say we don't want the Hausa, but to kill for their soya, pay them to dig well and trenches. The Igbo say they don't want us, but they fill up our market, selling automobile spare parts, selling their soup ingredients, and their so-called BK, second-hand materials. The child that says his mother should not sleep would not also sleep. The both will be awake. So will it be if the nation should secede, because both the new and old country would be imbalanced. Take Nigeria for an example. At about 62 years of age, it is still struggling to maintain balance. How many years would it take the new nation to maintain its own balance properly? Only secession agitators can answer that question. I have no answer to that. But at this stage in time, when we know the rise of agitation for secession is increasing in this country, I think the only solution and the best in my mind, which I can prefer to the rise in agitation for secession, is restructuring. Restructuring, we've been hearing of this for a long time, but I'll give you in a simple manner. Most people think this word is just too big and they don't see any reason why Nigeria should be restructured. But I'm going to tell you today. Restructuring is simply the act of reorganizing any structure. A business organization can be restructured. Anything can be restructured. But we are looking at the restructuring of Nigeria, which is the ultimate solution to secession agitation in this country. Restructuring, be the ultimate solution to secession agitation in Nigeria, has to occur first among individuals. We all need to clear traces of racism from our mind. Racism needs to be taken away from our mind. Nigeria is a country of over 250 ethnic groups, and still yet we hate ourselves. Why is that so? Racism needs to be taken from our mind. The fact that most insecurity cases are caused by FOLA'S does not mean the Yorubas does not have alliance with them. Hush Puppy is a Yoruba, am I right? Evans, one of the best notorious kidnappers, is an Igbo man. Abba Kyari, the deputy superintendent police officer, is an Hausa man. So the three tribes have their ups and downs. Ask a Yoruba young lady that the Fulani man wants her hand in marriage. You see her reaction. She reacts badly. Why is that so? Because of racism. We've now painted each tribe as these tribes are black, as in they don't want it. I was somewhere one day and someone was telling me that the Igbos are cannibals. Does Yoruba not eat human flesh? So this fact that we are now painting each tribes as though they are no good. Racism needs to be taken away from our mind, firstly, for Nigeria to be restructured. Also, for Nigeria to be restructured, we need to try as much as possible to elect men of all major tribes into position. I'm telling you this in real sense. Nigerians have this mindset of believing in men of their tribe only. You can go in your research. When they find their man in power, They find it hard to think of secession, talk less of practicing it. Isn't restructuring blazing the trail? For Nigeria to be restructured, I want to give you the last and best solution to this. Government and private investors should try as much as possible to invest in most regions of this country. When the people of the East want to succeed and they find companies built by the Western man in their environment, in their surroundings, most especially if the Eastern youths and people work there, they will find it hard to succeed. Nobody wants to lose the sources of income just because of tribe and racism antagonist. So, government and private investors should try as much as possible to create job allowance opportunities in most regions of the state. And lastly, I want us to look at this acronym. The acronym GO ON. GOWON. Go on with One Nigeria. That should be our mindset for now and forever. All in all, at this stage in time, I will advise secession agitators to look very well before they leap. Another civil war is going to cost us so much in humanity and money. Nigeria belongs to all of us. Let's remain in it and salvage it together. Once again, happy independence. Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful speech.